I'm Lyndsay Levingston, the founder of Survive Her, a breast cancer nonprofit. In July 2019, while working in New York City in a very busy media career, I was in the shower and I felt a lump in my right breast during a self-breast exam. At the time, I didn't know what it was and was a little bit nervous and scared, so I immediately scheduled a well woman exam. And it was during that exam that my OB-GYN ordered my very first mammogram that I would have at the age of 37. Because I have dense breast tissue, I then had subsequent mammography exams, a 3D mammogram, breast ultrasound, and a biopsy of that lump confirmed that it was cancerous. And I received the call on July 13, 2019, that I had breast cancer. At that time, everything came to a screeching halt because I didn't know what that meant, what it could mean for my life, or if I could die. I relocated back home here to Houston to undergo treatment. And I sat down with a phenomenal breast surgeon, Dr. Jamie Terry of Texas Oncology, and she confirmed that my diagnosis was triple negative stage 2B. Triple negative breast cancer is the most aggressive form of breast cancer that affects Black women at a higher rate. And she shared with me that I would need to undergo aggressive treatment. So initially my plan would be to undergo neoadjuvant chemotherapy to shrink the mass, a lumpectomy to remove whatever was left, and 6 weeks of radiation. So I started on my chemotherapy journey, shaved my hair, and kept it going. So between rounds 4 and 5, I learned that I carried the BRCA1 gene mutation, and so that changed my treatment plan. So I underwent 15 rounds of chemotherapy, a bilateral breast mastectomy, and breast reconstruction to reduce my risk of recurrence. Months later, I had a procedure to remove my ovaries and fallopian tubes to reduce my risk of ovarian cancer. Because I was diagnosed with triple negative breast cancer, it required aggressive treatment. So I had 4 rounds of what's called the Red Devil, AC, which affected me in many ways. It took my hair. I was extremely fatigued and just very lethargic. After those 4 rounds of the aggressive treatment, I then had weekly rounds of Taxol. Undergoing aggressive treatment for triple negative breast cancer certainly took a toll on my emotional health and my mental health. There were days in which I didn't want to get out of the bed and days that I just wanted to sulk. But one thing my breast surgeon told me at the very beginning is that 90% of me going through breast cancer and getting to the finish line was to have mental capacity, the fortitude and the strength to power through. And so I will admit that my good days outweighed my bad days. And the strategies that I used to cope and to get through it all was prayer, meditation, and surrounding myself with positive people, surrounding myself with a village of love and just really positive energy. During my breast cancer journey, I was surrounded by a village of love. When I was first diagnosed, I didn't share the news publicly with the world. Rather, it was important for me to undergo the process privately so that I could really process and feel and embrace what I was going through and understand too, because I was overwhelmed with so much information. So I had to surround myself with people I trusted and people I could count on to really keep me lifted and keep my spirits high. And so I would highly recommend to breast cancer patients to surround yourself with people who love you, will support you, and will pour that positive energy into your soul and spirit. One thing I really appreciate about Dr. Terry, my breast surgeon, is that she treated me as a woman, not just a patient, but a woman. And she asked me before I even started treatment if I desired to become a mother. And I said, I do. And she sent me to an oncofertility specialist, Dr. Kimi Nuruddin, so that I could undergo fertility preservation. And for that, I'm so grateful, because when you are diagnosed with breast cancer, you're not thinking about what could happen down the line. You're not thinking long-term, you're thinking short-term. You're just thinking about surviving. So I'm gonna keep it real. I have a fan here because I'm in medically induced menopause. Remember I told you that I don't have ovaries, I don't have fallopian tubes. So that kicked me into medically induced menopause, and I have hot flashes. Oh boy. I'm 41 years old and I have hot flashes. So it's like I'm 41, but I have like a 51-year-old woman's body, maybe 61 years. So that is really challenging, and just maintaining how I live every day, managing the symptoms. But I'm grateful, because if all I have right now as a result of going through breast cancer or hot flashes, I'll take that, because I know that's not the case for all women. But you see, this is my best friend. It's my fan. My breast cancer diagnosis thrust me and propelled me into my purpose. For many years, I worked in TV news and in media as a news reporter and anchor. And when I lived in New York City, I was just spinning this hamster wheel, just trying to figure out what was next in my career, trying to climb that ladder and get to the next and get to the next. And when I was diagnosed, everything, of course, came to a screeching halt. I went through treatment, and then COVID happened. And during that time when the world shut down and we were all really forced to sit in stillness and couldn't do anything, at that time I had to reevaluate my life. How was I going to live now and focus on survivorship? What was I going to do with my career? I knew that I was not going to return to New York City. And so I had to make some decisions. And I also, at the time, was married, and so I made a decision to end my marriage. So during that time, during that COVID time, I was thinking about how I could use my media platform and experience with all of the information that I learned going through my breast cancer journey. And so I came up with this idea to create a platform that would inform, inspire, and empower women about breast cancer awareness and wellness. And so I started Survive Her. And I just started sharing my story through media interviews and sharing it on social media, and doors just swung wide open. And that's when I knew, and that's when God confirmed. It was like I called him a God wink. He confirmed that this was what I was supposed to do. This was my purpose. So advice for breast cancer patients: pray, meditate, and surround yourself with positive people who are emitting positive energy into your life. If you're having a down day, it's okay to cry. But when you have even an ounce of energy, get up and go for a walk, go to a dance class, do a cartwheel. I don't know, whatever that looks like for you, but stay active, stay positive, stay encouraged. And also keep in mind that what you're going through is only temporary. At the time, I know when I was going through breast cancer treatment, I didn't know how long I'd be in that chemo chair, when I would ring the bell, but just know it's only temporary. And then years later, you're gonna look back and say, oh my gosh, it was only a small window of my life through which I had a temporary delay or interruption. But just know that that interruption is preparing you for something better, and there is a pink light at the end of the tunnel. Advice that I have for breast cancer survivors: girl, congratulations, we've done it. Live bolder, live bigger. Don't take no for an answer. Know that if you can beat breast cancer, you can do anything. I feel so empowered now to conquer the world after undergoing treatment for breast cancer, after getting my breasts removed and other body parts removed. You can't tell me anything. I went through cancer, COVID, and a divorce in a year. So honey, hello. But survivors, stay strong, stay encouraged, and continue to share your stories with other women to encourage and empower them. So when I was diagnosed with breast cancer, I didn't know that I carried the BRCA1 gene mutation. It's so important that you know your family history and you know your genetic status, because the more you know, the more that you can take preventative measures. If you are at an increased risk, i.e. Black women, continue to get your mammograms, do self-breast exams, and advocate for yourself. Get second, third, and fourth opinions if you feel like you need them, because you deserve the best health care, you deserve the world. And so it's so important that as women and women of color, you are proactive about your health. You're living your best, healthiest life. You're staying active and you're prioritizing yourself. That's really important. I never knew that my diagnosis would shape who I am today, but I'm just so excited about helping women and serving women. So through Survive Her, We support underserved and underinsured women. We pay for mammograms. We help women pay for bills, and we fill in the gaps wherever we can with the resources that we are able to raise and are gifted through our organization. We also host community workshops and programs, fitness events. And I'm really excited because we host a lot of social events, not only to bring survivors together, but to bring the community together. It's so important that we keep breast cancer top of mind and a priority in our conversations. When we're going to brunch or we're hanging with our family, let's throw in that breast cancer. Let's talk about family history, because the more we talk about it, the more we empower women to get their mammograms, the more lives we can save.